Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for the Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2018 August kits again for today. And this is up on the Hip Kit blog for Mixed Media Monday. And I decided to just start with some pattern papers today. I tend to gravitate toward so much mixed media in the background and embellishments that I always wind up having a lot of pattern paper left over. And so I thought I would challenge myself to start with pattern paper. And I'm going to start with the Maggie Holmes Willow Lane. The blue paper is from Willow Lane. And then the black and white paper is from the Amy Tangerine Shine On collection. And they're both in the main kit and the paper kit. And I just cut some strips here, and I'm going to see where this takes me. Before I glue them down though, I'm going to ruffle up the edges a little bit with my edge distressor, and that just kind of makes the edges look a little torn and uneven so they're not perfectly straight, because if you know me, you know I really don't do anything perfectly straight except my journaling lines. So yeah, I like things kind of messy and crooked, and that's okay. So I'm going to glue those down and start there. And now I've got a lot of white space left to go, and I'm going to do some mixed media stuff. So I'm taking white gesso and a palette knife, and I'm just scraping some down and then using my fingers to kind of smudge. That just kind of helps blend it and thin it out a little bit more so it's not so stark white in the areas. I don't like the edges of where I put the gesso to be so harsh. I like it to be kind of soft and faded. And so that's why I use my hands and my fingers a lot, just to kind of smudge it in a little bit more. And I'm not trying to completely cover up the blue and the black. I just want to fade out portions of it and kind of prep it for any other mixed media things that I'm going to add to it here momentarily. Now here's my picture. This actually was taken by accident. I was trying to get her to look at the camera, and she just started laughing, and it was trying to like cuddle and snuggle with me, and it's the most blurry photo ever. And so that's why I put it in black and white, because it's really grainy. It was taken with my phone and she was moving, but it's one of my favorite photos because it suits her personality so much, and I love it. So here's a little bold statement piece on this layout. I grabbed some black acrylic paint, and that's just for my stash. It's just cheap craft paint, and a big dry brush, and I'm just painting a big messy square. Well, I guess that's more of a rectangle. I wanted a big messy border behind the picture, and this is really easy to do. It's not meant to be perfect. It's meant to look kind of messy, and you know, the edges aren't perfect, and I love how that looks. And I made it a lot bigger than my picture because I'm going to be tucking some things behind the picture and around it. Now I didn't show you me backing these cut files. I thought I was tongue-tied there for a second, because I actually made these like 3 weeks ago for another layout for Hip Kits. And I just decided to change my mind, and I didn't wind up using them, and so I'm going to use them today. And it's a cut file that Kim Watson designed. It's in the August downloads for the cut files for this month, and it's just a simple banner. And I cut it 3 times and backed it with various pattern papers, and I love all the different colors. I think it looks really, really pretty. So here is where I'm going to start adding in some mixed media around this big messy square, and I'm pulling some colors from previous color kits. I've got Shimmer's Mango Tango and Shimmer's Ruby. I believe one is a Vibes and one is a Spritz. This is Glorious Day Vibes, and I can't remember each month that these came in, but within the past year I believe we've received these, definitely 18 months. And I always say go for the color kits if you like mixed media, because they last and last and last, and they usually coordinate with each kit, and so before long you've got quite a bit of mixed media colors, different types and styles, and I just love it because everything it just matches from month to month. Now this color here that I'm using is Well Blue Me Down, and we got that in this month's kit, in the August color kit, and it's a very beautiful aqua, and I'm just kind of painting some areas of the paper, and so it kind of just adds a little bit darker bluish color, darker than the paper that I've used. And I've splattered, I've smudged, I'm adding a little bit more gesso to the top and the bottom there because when I go to paint this color on, if you don't have the gesso on there, it's going to soak right through the paper immediately. And if you have the gesso, it's going to allow you to blend and smudge and move some of that color around, and it's not going to dry right away. And I definitely want that. And I really like how this is looking. I love the colors. I love the pink and that coral color kind of mixed together. This is the Minor 49er that we got this month. It's a really pretty gold. I'm going to set that aside for now, though, and let it soften up a little bit, because I left the lid off for probably a while, several days, and it hardened up again. And so I just added the water, and I'm going to let it sit and kind of soften up the paint. So I just keep splattering and adding color here and there, and I love how that's looking. I think it's a really pretty color scheme. So now it's dry, and I'm going to start to work with the photo here. I'm just adding some tissue paper, and I get asked this a lot. Yes, this is just plain gift wrap tissue paper, and I have no idea if it's acid free. I just like the way it looks, and I like the separation it creates between the background and the picture, but at the same time it's very subtle. And you can rip and tear it and make it uneven, which is even better. So I'm just going to use 2 of those banner pieces, and I definitely wanted to add some black splatters. And I could have just watered down the acrylic paint that I used, but I keep this black shimmers on my desk, and that's from my stash. It's just your basic black ink spray. Now I did do some stitching. I did some pink and coral back and forth over on the left, and then I did some black zigzag stitching on the right side of that black strip of paper, and then I did some black stitching across the tops of each of those banners, and I let the strings hang because I love to have that look when I use banners, because, you know, that's kind of what you would use to hang it on the wall or hang it between 2 poles or whatever it is you're doing with your banner. So I like the look of the messy string on the end. So I am going to add some layers behind the picture, and that's just a piece of one of the very colorful striped quilted Maggie Holmes paper. I can't remember the name of it, but it's got multi colors on it. And then what's left of a yellow Project Life card, I'm going to layer that in over on the right. And this is why I made the black square a lot bigger than the picture, because when you start to add layers behind your picture, then the black square is going to start to get smaller. It's going to start to get covered up, and you can still see it, and it really has a nice effect, but it looks a lot smaller now than it does when I painted it. So usually that's my experience when I'm making backgrounds or things like this. I always do too much. It looks like too much in the beginning, but then when you add stuff back on top of it, it starts to look too small, and sometimes you wind up covering all of it up, and you have to go back and add more. So yeah, it just depends on the look you're going for. So this is the basis of the design. I've got the picture there, and I don't want it perfectly straight. It's going to be a little bit tilted and crooked, but I felt like I needed a pop of that blue over on the right since I've got so much of it on the left of the photo. So I've added some thread, and that's just some light blue thread from my stash. I get that from Walmart. I think it's like $2.20 a spool. And it's nothing fancy, it's just your standard sewing thread. Now these are the little inflatable ephemera puffy hearts from Amy Tangerine. I'm going to add a couple of those over to the right. And then I thought about adding some stars, and I pulled some of the stickers from Willow Lane that are stars, as well as the chipboard ones, but then I feel like I have too many shapes going on. I've got the half circles for the banners, the stars, the hearts. It's shape overload, and so I do wind up taking off all those stars. The colors are perfect, but I don't know, didn't like it. Too many shapes competing with each other, I think. So now I definitely wanted to use this little sticker here that says sunshine, and that's from the Willow Lane sticker sheet, because one of Paige's nicknames is Sunshine, and I love that so many embellishments have the word sunshine in it because it's perfect. And I like how it looks tilted on top of that banner piece. So it's going to go right there, and I'm going to start to glue down pieces here. I'm going to glue down some hearts on the right, hearts on the left, a little chipboard piece above the picture that says together. And I did add some foam. I know I showed that a second ago, but I was talking about something else. I added some adhesive foam behind the banner pieces, and behind the photo to kind of raise things up and create some dimension. And you'll really be able to see the shadow effect of that in the close-ups later. I love these black stickers, the clear stickers from Willow Lane. I'm going to complete the title with one of those. It says Love You. So it's going to be Love You Sunshine. And then I'm just going to use this random little bird, mainly because, well, one, because it's cute, and two, because it's blue and it matches that paper on the left, and it gives me a pop of that blue color over on the far right. And you know, birds just kind of swoop in out of nowhere, and so that's what it looks like. This cute little bird just decided to swoop in and come towards the picture. Chipboard. I tried to make this chipboard heart work, but I couldn't find the right spot for it. So it goes back. And then, yeah, I did overlap the big coral colored heart on top of the picture, and then one of those little banner stickers at the bottom. I overlapped it, but you can't really tell that I overlapped it because my shirt looks black and the little banner sticker is black, and so it kind of blends in with the bottom of the picture. And then I'm adding in some Amy Tangerine stickers. These are the little puffy, they're almost like epoxy, but they're also puffy hearts. Add a couple of those in. And then I'm going to cut this XOXOXO sticker into thirds and make sort of a triangle with it. So I've got one up there, one down there, and one over there. And I like the pops of black that those give scattered around the page like that. So here's where I do like things straight. I'm going to add in some lines for my journaling and then write in a couple of words about my sweet daughter and how cute she looks and how seeing pictures like this just make me smile because that's her. If you knew her, you would agree. Last thing I'm going to do is add in a couple more black splatters, and I do add the date off camera, but that's the final layout. I love how this turned out. I'm glad I finally used those banners, and again, I apologize for not showing that, but you've seen me back cut files. I think everybody knows how to back a cut file by now, but I love the colors. I love the pinks and the corals and the blues, the yellows, and all the pops of black. I really like how the effect of that black paint on the background, and that was really easy to do. I want to do that more often. But let me know if you have any questions about any of the kits. I know the September kits are shipping this week, so be on the lookout for those. Yay! And yeah, I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all next week.